How are Etsy sellers creating listing images for their digital downloads that look like they've had a professional photo shoot? I'm on a mission to bring my Etsy store back to life, and one of the things that I think is holding me back is that my listing images look dated. So today I'm going to be updating them in Canva using a lifestyle approach, and I'm going to bring you along with me to show you how I'm going to do it. So these are my listing images. When I created them, I was actually pretty proud of them. They brought me sales, and according to eRank, they put my store in the top 10% of Etsy sellers, even though I have 10 listings. The first thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be setting up my workspace in Canva. Now I'm going to be going with a square. The reason I'm going with a square is because Etsy keeps on changing the way that listing images are viewed, and it would give me flexibility, hopefully, if Etsy changes their image sizes. So I'm just going to go create, and I'm going to go custom size, and I'm going to create 2500 pixels by 2500 pixels. Okay, so now I'm going to add some rulers and guides. So I'm going to go file, settings, show rulers and guides. So this just shows these up here, and so I'm going to zoom in a bit so I can see them a bit better. So now I'm going to add some crop lines in. I'm going to crop them at a 4:3 and a 3:4 ratio. So I've already worked out where those lines should go. So the first one should be at 312.5. They don't do halves, but I'm going to get as close as I can. And then the other two guides I want at 2187.5, so I'm going to put those in. So now I have my guides in there. I'm going to need to make sure that at least for my thumbnail image, I need to put all the important information within this inner square. And now I'm going to create my first mockup. The first way I'm going to do it is I'm going to use Canva's mockups. Now this is probably the easiest way to create a mockup, but you are limited to the images that Canva actually has. So I'm going to go into elements. I'm going to go down to mockups. Now there's a lot of different types of mockups here. The one that I'm looking for is a laptop. I want something pretty clean, so I might go with something like this, stretching it out. It's pretty big within my screen. If I was to use this image, the next thing you would do is you just get your image. So I'm going to go to my uploads, and then I would just drop it inside this frame. If you can see here, it's kind of cropped the top of my image off. So to adjust it, I can just double click the image, and then I can adjust the way that it's viewed within the frame. I'm going to go with fill and then just pull it down a bit by changes. If I was to use this as an actual image, I would add some text in there as well. But that is how you use mockups. The next way that you can do it is by searching an image on Canva's library. You want to go to elements. I want to create a flat lay, so I'm going to go. Okay, so I might go with something like this and then just stretch it out. If you've got the pro version, you got more options, but if you don't, then you can just filter it, and just so you search free ones and then just push apply. Okay, so now what I would do is I would start adding my images and start adding text. The next way that you can create a mockup is to generate one with the AI within Canva. So you can go in and generate. I'm not very descriptive in mine, so I'm not sure it's going to create something very useful. See, these are not the best images because they're kind of like angled, and I don't really think that they look necessarily the most realistic, so I wouldn't use them, but it's another option if you want to. Now the next way that you can do, which is the way that I'm going to use, is to upload an image. So I've already uploaded a few images. Okay, so I got AI to create a bunch of images for me. The reason I did this was because I was hoping it would create a consistent style. We'll try this one. Now I want as much clear in the middle, so I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a frame. So I'm going to go to elements, going to go down to frames. Now I'm going to get a square. Now I want to make it the same proportions as my love coupons. So I'm going to go to position 467 pixels by 221 pixels. And I'm going to lock that. And then I'm just going to stretch it out. Now when I stretch it, it's going to stay the same shape. To the frame, I want to add a shadow. So I want to search. That one looks good. Now it's okay if it goes like underneath it, but we don't want the shadow to hang out at the side. I think that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to just group them, and so when I duplicate my frame, so you can go Command D to duplicate, that all of my other frames will have a shadow attached already. So this is going to be my main image. So I'm going to add a few coupons here. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a little play. I want to have the most important stuff within these crop lines. I don't mind if it goes a little bit over. Now I'm going to get to my coupons and drop them in. So I'm just going to pick a range. It keeps going inside my frame, which is frustrating. So now I'm going to also add some text. So I'm just going to add a rectangle to the back of my text. So I don't like a pure black, so I'm just going to go with a lighter black, that one and that one. I think it needs a little bit more. And a line. Alright, so I'm just going to select multiples. So to do that, you just push shift down and then going to go position. I'm just going to go tidy up and then I'm going to group these. And I want to change the color of those lines to this one. Okay, so I think I like that one. So I'm going to create the next image. The next image is going to be showing a bunch of coupons. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to duplicate this page. That way I carry on the text and the shadows and stuff. So I'm going to just delete a few of these and delete. I want to go really small. Okay, so now I'm going to change the text. So I want to go and change the font to, and we want to change the size to make that nice and large. Let's try 200. Position, center. Okay, now I'm going to add in my coupons. Yeah, that's the problem with like groups, is that it's really easy to mess things up. That's the second one done. So now I have 2. Okay, so now I'm going to create a mock-up showing its Canva template, because that's like one of the major things of this one. I didn't really like the mock-ups that they had, so I'm going to do it a different way. I want to find a laptop and I'm going to go with a photo. I might try this one, and then I want to go with a desk. Oh, maybe like this. This one might work. I'm going to delete that. Now I'm just going to drop a frame in there, and I'm just going to place this frame inside the laptop screen, and then I'm going to go to my uploads. I'm going to get my screenshot and drop that in there and adjust how it sits there, and then I'm going to add some text to it as well. So I might just copy some of these over, and then I'm just going to create a little circle saying includes Canva template. So I'm just going to do that now. Elements, I want a circle. I want this color to be my color. And then I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to go and create a line inside. So this one I want to have no fill. I want a dotted line, and I want to make it white. I want the line to be white, and then the fill to be none. There we go. And I'm going to search for Canva, this one, and then I'm going to go with white, and I might get a heart. White, and I'm going to pop that in there. That's better. I might group this and then copy that and pop it up here as well. All right, so I have 3 images. So I'm going to keep making them, but I'm not going to show you because it's just going to take too long. All right, so these are my listing images. I am pretty happy with how they turned out. I think that they are an upgrade, and I am hoping that it will help with sales. I will be testing the new listing versus the old listing, and I'm going to let you know how that turns out. Otherwise, next I'm going to be updating my listing video. So if you're interested in watching to see how that turns out, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching.